Okay, so my original idea wasn't that far off from what the final product looks like. I honestly am kind of proud of how close I was to the idea I envisioned in my head. The only, I guess difference is I wanted to have more going on, layout wise. I know I wanted to have ribbons and a heart pillow and all that stuff, but I think it's just a mix of time and near the end I kind of was over it, so I stopped having too much, I guess, passion. But I also was happy with what I had, so I just put all my energy into the main focus, which is red velvet. I'm not entirely sure if I had a main topic for this video besides just talking in general about my process for this, because this is really different from my usual art and I'm really proud of it, so I just decided to dedicate a whole video to it because why not? So I'm gonna start with obviously the sketching process. As you can see, I referenced, I think, official art from Dramatical Murder. It's a really old visual novel game. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. I did not play it that much and I honestly don't remember a lot of it. I just really enjoy the art for it. So I know that was a little while ago, but I'll put the reference image right here so you can see it again since it kind of went by fast. I was kind of torn between using the Procreate time-lapse and recording it, so I did both. But we're going to rely mostly on the built-in time-lapse because my recordings are really long and my iPad is just trying to kill itself over it, so I decided to be a little lenient and not use it too much. But when it comes up, if I'm talking about something specific process-wise, I'll use that so you can see a more close-up and slowed down version of what I'm doing. But as of right now, I mostly use 2 or 3 brushes. None of them are my own. They're all from either Schwinn's Creations or I think Ren's brush set. I'll put them on the screen and in the descriptions because I use them all the time and I think they're great. To be honest, they're the main reason why I even use Procreate. So I decided I'd probably give all the credit to them on that front. But yeah, as for my line art, the brush I'm using is a hard airbrush, and I've also adapted this in Clip Studio because I kind of just prefer doing this recently. It's a hard airbrush, and what I do is I'll do a 1/over, and then I'll kind of, as I go down through it, I'll erase parts to make them thinner or just change how they look shape wise. It all kind of depends on just how I'm feeling pretty much. And a lot of it also is because I've been trying to experiment with my art recently, and I've been going for more I'd say very cliche anime line art look, but I also kind of am more inspired by a lot of other artists. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but in my other Q&A video I brought them up before. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on right now. It's just going over different areas, especially the hair, because one of my main goals in art is to have hair pretty much be its own character, so I usually put a lot of effort into it. And also the face, you're gonna see it come up again, but I recently watched the first season of Arcane, and obviously everyone else, I was really inspired, so I tried to incorporate that into this piece, but it's kind of, I don't know if I really succeeded. When we get there later, you'll understand what I mean. But yeah, I guess a little bit about the characters themselves. Red Velvet Cookie is from Cookie Run Kingdom. It is a town builder RPG. I don't know how to explain it. Cookie Run Kingdom is basically just there's this one Clash of Clans but with cookies. That's kind of the best way I can think about it. And when I started playing, the gacha system was very forgiving and merciful. But nowadays it's kind of starting to feel more like every other gacha game, which is whatever, but I'm stuck on this boat. And when I first started playing, Red Velvet was the first cookie banner I ever did, and he's my favorite cookie still to this day. I love him. But yeah, more about him. He's known, as you saw earlier, these little cake hounds, they're dog cakes. And his whole character, well, most of his character is that he loves them. He comes off edgy and scary, but he loves these cake hounds. So half the time it's like I know his little special animation, the cake hounds come out and he like plays with them. And he has a bunch of other stuff like that. I'll be honest, when I play this game, I do not pay attention to the story that much, but I kind of do now. But when I first started playing, I didn't care that much, except outside of like the whole basic stuff. Like any extra events, I did not pay attention to. So if there's anything I'm missing about him, sorry. But yeah, so I'm gonna start talking about the art because I could ramble at him for a while. Basically, I struggled a lot. You might have, like, throughout this video, you're gonna see me do this face, like, 300 times. Okay, this is, like, my second attempt. And as you can see, I had a reference for Arcane, specifically Vi, because I kind of felt like he would have a very similar, like, nose and, like, face structure to her, since they're both kind of more masculine fighters. But I was struggling. I was really struggling. I don't know if it was just a mix of me not understanding it, or if it's just the fact that I don't usually do this in general. Like, most of you should know, just look at my art, my style is not very painterly or anything like this. Usually it's more cel shaded and like airbrushy, stuff like that. So you can imagine me sitting here trying to do all this in like one go. This isn't my first time digital painting. I have some other things from Procreate that I've been doing, mostly Elden Ring, and then also like some like stuff I did for myself. I don't know, the main reason why I really started getting into Procreate is because I just love the blending brushes, and like I mentioned earlier, those brush sets are like the main reason why I really started using Procreate. And I don't know why, but for some reason in Clip Studio I just can't paint. I don't know if it's like the brushes I'm using or if it's just how I'm doing it. I just can't do it. Like the blending options in Clip Studio are just like nothing compared to like Procreate for me. But that might just be a me thing, and I'm constantly trying to change that. So maybe in the future I'll have a video of me actually using Clip Studio that isn't just like my usual style. I'll try and apply my Procreate process in the Clip Studio. That's the better wording for it. So right now you can just, it's a struggle. Like, yeah, you can see me going back because I really liked how the first face looked, but I erased it and I can't go back now. So I just kind of sucked it up. But you can see me trying to recreate it, and like I think there's some moments where I just don't want to like rip my hair out, because this is a screen recording, as you can tell. This is not the built-in time lapse, because I wanted you guys to see somewhat of my process throughout this, because I don't show it a lot, I feel like. But a lot of it's just kind of experimenting, applying all the rules I've ever learned in my life. And I don't know, I just didn't know what to do. I was so like I was just so lost. And again, I have an issue of being stubborn of like not using references. I mean, I used one, but if I could go back, I would just watch videos and see how other people did it, because obviously I'm not getting it. And I know I'm not alone in that problem, because I've seen millions of tutorials out recently because of season 2, and when season 1 came out, I saw even more tutorials. So you can imagine why I'm kind of frustrated that I didn't just do that. But whatever, you know me. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's horrible. Like later on, I think it's okay. But if I could redo it now, I will. But I plan to do more drawings, so I'll probably use that as an opportunity to practice more. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut to this part of the drawing process, because a lot of it earlier was just me redoing that face, and I feel like at some point it just gets frustrating to watch, especially for me. So I decided to try to approach this a different way, and that is the like grayscale method. It's a method I want to do more often. I just haven't found a way to translate it like into color very well. I mean, obviously, like you can see me doing it now, but I personally just didn't. I just don't really have one I could do every time that I'm like, yeah, this is the way for me. So I've been trying to experiment and like change up how I do that. Like right now you can see me going through different layer like modes, because some people say multiply, some people say overlay, some people say like color mode or like the color layer filter. I don't know. I the best method I've learned is just kind of a mix of all of it. Usually I do like color mode for like the base tones, and then multiply for like anything darker, and then kind of just go over it. Like you can see me right now painting over colors I like, and like kind of just blending them out and trying to make them look more natural per se, because again, I don't do this method often, so I find it very hard to try and do it, especially on a painting that I've not done that much of, or painting style I've not done that much of. So this whole video is just me trying stuff and struggling, but at the end I feel like it was kind of worth it, and I've definitely learned a lot from it. But yeah, again, just me kind of going through the struggles. Oh, you can see my brushes right there, okay? But I'll put them in the links to the description still, but yeah. Also, this is I saw it on TikTok a long time ago. I didn't do it when it came out. I don't remember how to do it, so that's probably why it looks weird. But I liked how it looked, so I kept doing it anyway. I know it's supposed to mimic like the temperature and skin, I believe. I know a lot of artists have kind of, or quote unquote professional artists, have said like it's not that great of a method, and I kind of don't care because it looks good. Honestly, at the end of the day, if it looks good, I don't care. But of course, that isn't a good habit to get into. You know, it's good to learn what actually works, yada, whatever. But I'm not Ross Draws or Sam Does Art, so I could not tell you why it doesn't work. I mean, I could, but I kind of don't want to, because if I'm wrong, then I'm gonna look embarrassed. So I'm just gonna move on. So I think by this point I'm kind of done with the skin. I'm not too happy with it, like face wise, but I really enjoy that hand, both hands. One's like a candy cane, and the other one's obviously his normal hand. But I think this was the moment when I realized he was wearing a glove. So I was just like, well, whatever. Also, he doesn't even have nails, but we also never see his hands, so I kind of don't care. So it was a battle of like headcanons and just keep going with what I got, because even his outfit isn't right 100%. At least his shirt's like tucked into his pants all the way. I made it like I don't know, like some hip window general looking outfit because I can. Again, it's art. You do whatever you want. Who cares? But yeah, as of right now, this is when I started shading the jacket. I'm really proud of this jacket. I used a bunch of like Pinterest references, and hopefully on the screen I'll put the actual like time lapse of me doing it. But it was a struggle, okay, because I really liked it, but then there's parts of me that felt like it was kind of it was standing out too much from the rest of the drawing. But then I was like, well, maybe that's okay, because I don't care. I mean, I care, but like I don't care too much, because this is mostly experimenting for me. But I think it came out pretty nice. If you have any questions, please don't ask me, because this was apparently a one-time thing, because I just feel like that was my peak. But I definitely want to do more like clothing focused drawings, so maybe in a future video I will talk about that more. But my basic process was using the reference, trying to apply it, and then adjusting it as is. Sorry. I think the basic like one rule I followed was when I was blending it out, I was blending it in the direction I think the folds and like stitches were. Like on the sleeve, you can see where it folds. I like blended it in like in a curve motion, kind of like in towards itself, which is what helped give it that like 3D popping out effect. And for the stitches, the one thing I've learned that really makes like stitches or like indents and clothes pop out is putting the highlights on like the area that's facing up, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain, because the way I learned it was from like some tutorial on Pinterest for like 3D objects, but it can apply to clothing because clothing is 3D, duh. So that was like the biggest part, I feel like, that made it pop out. As for everything else, It was the same rules. The pants were kind of quick because they were kind of boring, so I didn't feel like it. The shoes I didn't like, so I didn't put too much effort into, which it sucks because I wanted this whole drawing to be like the same quality, but again, I was struggling and I was kind of over it. Now for the hair, I kind of went like a basic route of shading in like strips, and I think it came out really good because usually I hate doing hair, but I really liked how this one turned out. So you can see me like putting the shading in lines and then blending out the lines. I think it came out really good. I tried to apply the same thing for the highlights, but I don't think they came out as good, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to like screen record this part, so I'm sorry if anyone's like super interested in it. But if I ever find that footage, I'll put it in here, but unfortunately I don't think it is available. And the sad news again is I had imported this into Clip Studio, but for some reason I had this feature where it should automatically record like a time lapse of what I'm doing. However, for some reason it's not there anymore, it's turned off, so rest in peace to that. But here's the final product. Wow! As you can see, I had finished rendering the dog hounds, and I also added some extra textures and a little color editing in Clip Studio. Again, I'm sorry I wasn't able to record that part, but I appreciate you guys nonetheless, and I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye bye.